एग्जाम से पहले घर वाले शुरू हो जाते।
बादाम दूध पी लो बेटा, दिमाग बढ़ेगा।
सूर्य नमस्कार करो बेटा, सूर्य नमस्कार।
सुबह सुबह ठंडे पानी से स्नान करो बेटा। मार्क्स के लिए ना टिप्स हर कोई देता है, गारंटी कोई नहीं देता।
इसलिए वेदांतु इम्प्रूवमेंट प्रॉमिस।
अब वेदांतु मार्क्स बढ़ाने की जिम्मेदारी लेगा और गारंटी देगा, वरना आपकी पूरी फीस वापस।
ओह, अब ये होती है गारंटी। थैंक यू वेदांतु।
Hi everyone, a very warm welcome to the session. This is Sweta Mam, your English master teacher at Vedantu, and welcome to the amazing session where I would be talking about the commonly used poetic devices. So guys, on your demands, on your requests, we have finally come up with a session on poetic devices, right? So this was naturally and of course the most awaited session, right guys? I had got so many messages, mails regarding requests, of course, taking a session on poetic devices. So here I am, guys, with the most awaited session, and we will be talking about the commonly used poetic devices in this particular session. All right, so that you master at least the very commonly used poetic devices in your poems, right? So this has been an area where the students mostly get confused. So guys, after today's session, I'm sure your problems, at least the commonly used poetic devices, you would be able to understand and master that, right guys? Okay, so those of you who do not know me, I am your English master teacher. I am Sweta Roy. I have pursued my masters in English and also BEd. I have mentored 20,000 plus students both online and offline. I have more than 1 year of teaching experience, and I have also qualified CTET. Okay? And my motto is unleash the power within you. I believe each one of you have already that power. It is, you just need that guidance so that you could unleash that potential which is latent in you guys, right? So before starting with the session, I want each one of you to feel that power. Okay, so let's start off with a quick reminder to ourselves that we are all empowered, especially in the language and literature classes, right guys? So do post in the chat box empowered. Okay, so do write in the chat box, guys. Everyone should write in the chat box, we are empowered. Alright, so with that guys, we would be starting with the word of the day, and that is sabotage. You must have come across this word. It's given by Raj. Thank you so much, Raj, for your amazing word. It means deliberately destroy or damage or obstruct something. Okay? He has also used this in a sentence. Power lines from South Africa were sabotaged by rebel forces. Great job, Raj. Thank you so much. And now I want each one of you, as your homework, guys, to use sabotage in a sentence, right? So please make sentences with this particular word in the comment section. Okay guys, do this, don't forget that. And now, what is your word of the day? That also should be posted in the comment section. Don't forget that as well. Okay guys, so with that we will start off with an amazing riddle. Let's see how many of you can crack this. Okay, from the beginning of eternity to the end of time and space, to the beginning of every end and the end of every place. What am I? Try to think about the answer, guys. We will know the answer at the end of the class. Right, guys? So, to know the answer, please stay tuned. So, how did you like this riddle? Enjoyed, right? So, show your love by hitting the like button. Alright, and share this video amongst your friends so that your friends can also master the poetic devices. Okay, so do you know these common poetic devices? Let us have a look, guys. So the very first poetic device that we are going to cover is, let us see. First, let us understand what are poetic devices. Okay, then we will gradually move ahead with the types of, what are the poetic devices that we are going to cover, right? So the various poetic devices, I mean to say, right guys? So what are poetic devices, guys? Any idea from your end? Post your answers right now in the chat box. What are poetic devices? What do you think? Okay, let's check whether you have guessed it correctly. A poetic device is any specific aspect of literature or a particular work which we can recognize, identify, interpret, or analyze, right? So that is also called, figures of speech. We also call them figures of speech, or we also call them literary devices, specially used in a very simplified manner. If I tell you, these are poetic techniques, okay, used by poets and authors in their literary pieces, right? Okay, very simplified manner, right guys? Okay, so by now I hope you people are enjoying the session a lot. Now, before proceeding further, I just want to know from you people, when you are studying, when you are, talking about your education, what are the problems that you usually face? You have lots and lots of doubts. Yes? Am I correct? Yes or no? Just tell me in the chat box. Do you agree with me? We have lots and lots of doubts with no reliable sources. Some of you also mentioned to me in the previous session that we do not have ample practice papers, right, guys? So somewhere this entire pandemic, our system of education is facing a tough time. We are all facing a very tough time, right? And the system of education is one of the worst affected sectors, right? Everything has gone so very unsystematic, right guys? So do you want to give your education a strong boost and make it very systematic, so that you gain the confidence and gain 100% knowledge and 100% marks? So you can join us, guys, because we are going to solve each and every problem that you face in education with a guarantee of your improvement, and that is the Vedantu improvement guarantee, guys. Okay, which we are taking. So, guys, to know more about this, please stay tuned. Alright, so now we will move ahead with the purposes of poetic devices. Now, we have already seen what poetic devices are in a very simplified manner. Now, why are poetic devices used? Okay, let us see. Poetic devices are essential tools that a poet uses to create rhythm, enhance a poem's meaning, or intensify a mood or a feeling, right? So, guys, in Hindi, those of you who can understand Hindi, we call them as alankar. What is alankar? Jewelry. So, just as we, although we are all, beautiful naturally, I know that, but sometimes we need to groom ourselves to, appeal, to have a good appeal, right, guys? So, let's say you wake up from your sleep, and do you go the same manner to your school? No, right? You dress properly and then go to the school. Or let's say when you go to a party, don't you dress up in a different way? Why? So that you enhance your looks, right? Similarly, poetic devices are just like that makeup, that touch up, right? That the poets give to their to their poems, okay, or their literary work, literary pieces. Why? So that they could enhance the language that they have used. Just as we apply different techniques to enhance our looks. We already are naturally beautiful, but of course we do enhance that in order to highlight, okay, our looks. We do apply different kinds of devices, right? So similarly, so some of you might be wearing watch, the boys watch, good shoes, right? The girls maybe jewelry, light jewelry, or whatever you prefer. So that is that adornment, okay, is done by poetic devices, right guys? So now let us move ahead with some of the poetic devices, right? So first let us discuss the features of the most common. That means we are now delving into the most commonly used poetic devices. Right guys? So the first one which is used a lot of times in your poems, and you must have come across this particular device, that is alliteration. What is it guys? It is the repetition of a sound at the beginning of the words. Please note this point. Alliteration will occur at the beginning of the syllable. Okay. For example, Coca-Cola. Okay. Tiny Tim, Mickey Mouse. You must have in Hindi, you must have come across that very popular saying, Chandu ke chacha ne Chandu ki chachi ko chandi ki chamchi se chutney chatai. Right? Try saying with me, guys. Okay. So that is the repetition of cha cha cha. Right? So in Hindi, that is there in Hindi also. Right? So similarly, in English, we call it as alliteration. So let's look at, just remember that, you will remember alliteration very easily, right guys? So while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping. So here you can see nodded, nearly, napping, the repetition of the N sound. Yes guys, so can you give a similar example of alliteration? Please do give in the chat box if you remember some funny example of alliteration. I told you one, right? In Hindi, maybe. So you can give me in English or Hindi or any language you want, right, guys? Okay, so with that, we will move to the next poetic device, that is repetition. Now, repetition is very easy to understand because the author or the poet repeats a word or a phrase. Very simple. In the name itself, the meaning is hidden, right guys? For the sake of, this is done for the sake of emphasis. For example, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Oh woeful day, right? So you have repeated a particular phrase or a particular word or a particular sentence. When it is repeated, okay, for the sake of emphasis, that is repetition. Clear? Very simple, right? Moving ahead is the next one, that is refrain. Now what is refrain guys? This is also repetition, but not of phrase or something like that. It is basically a phrase or a verse recurring at intervals. So in repetition you had a phrase or phrases or words being repeated, uh, being repeated. They are placed side by side. They come together, right? Not in intervals, but here it happens in a song or a poem. Okay, so for example, this poem you have come across a lot of times by Robert Frost. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. If you look at the entire poem, the two lines, the last two lines, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep, has been repeated in each stanza. Okay, so they are occurring at intervals, है ना? Especially at the end of each stanza. This is called refrain. This happens in a song as well. If you remember any song, maybe Hindi, English, whatever, in your language, having refrain, do put that in the comment section so that we can all read and listen to the song and enjoy. Right, guys? Okay, moving ahead is the quiz question for all of you. Let's see how many of you have understood. The whistling wind was whipping my wet hair around my neck. Which poetic device has been used? Alliteration, repetition, refrain, or none? Very simple, guys. Post your answers in the chat box right now. Okay, have you all done that? Can we check? 3, 2, 1. Let's have a look. Yes, it is alliteration. Good job, people. Good job. Moving ahead. Okay, before we move ahead, guys, I have talked about already Vedantu improvement promise, right? So we are taking care of, we are guaranteeing your improvement, guys. And how are we doing that? With our amazing platform, the Wave platform which we have, where we provide you with unlimited live classes with fun and high level quiz questions. So no longer you have to wait for the mentee sessions. You would have high level questions in each and every session. Okay? You could compete with the students throughout the world, and you also get that personal touch. Plus, even when you are seeing the replay, guys, you have it in an interactive way, because there also comes the live quiz question where you can participate. Plus, you would have the leaderboard at the end of each and every session, be it a live class, or even when you are watching the replay, you can still participate in the you would still have the leaderboard showing your overall class rank and earn. Plus, we have also the downloadable content. So I will be taking you to the platform very soon and showing you with every feature that we have and where from you can get all the notes, because notes is, again, having proper notes, that's also a major problem that usually the students face. Yes or no, guys? Right? So that is what we are going to solve. We have been solving in our wave platform. Plus, the very, very, very important problem that we have talked about is the doubt solving. So that has been taken care of in Vedantu, guys, with the help of class teachers who will be staying there with you throughout the session, catering to each and every doubt that you have, giving you that personal touch. Plus, we also have the doubt app. Okay, so that is an amazing feature that you can definitely try. Plus, we have tools to measure your performance. Those tools are assignments and quality tests, along with your performance report, guys. So that is definitely very effective tool to measure. And when you can measure it, guys, you will definitely understand how much you have improved, and that guarantee is taken by us. Plus, we provide you with free unlimited micro courses. Micro courses are chapter wise courses. So let's say you are learning any chapter in your school, maybe you are not understanding, right? You can take the micro course of that particular chapter. So chapter wise courses are so very helpful in bridging the gap that can happen in your learning. Or if you want to study from your favorite teacher, you can avail the micro course of that particular teacher. Right, guys? Plus, crash courses, competitive exams, these are all free. You do not have to pay any extra amount for these courses. Alright? And all of this at a very less price. We will be talking about that very soon. I'll be demonstrating the entire platform to you people. Okay? Next, we come to Anaphora. Let's get back to the session. And Anaphora is a poetical device that repeats certain expression in order to give emphasis. It is also a type of repetition. Okay, but usually in Anaphora, see, in repetition, usually the words will be repeated together. Okay, but in Anaphora, it will not be repeated together. For example, see, in every cry of every man, it's not happening at one place, right? The repetition is definitely happening, but not together, right? So that's Anaphora. Okay, in every cry of every man, in every infant's cry of fear. Okay, so this is definitely an Anaphora. Again, that's repetition. Okay, guys, in order to give emphasis. Alright, moving ahead with the very easy example. That's simile. So, guys, you must have come across that very popular and trending song nowadays, right? As cool as a tree, as silly as I don't know what I forgot, but yeah, I hope you've got that song, right? So, what is that? That is a simile, right? So, a comparison of two things that are essentially different using words. So, basically, it's a comparison. It uses words like alike, as, or it could also use such as. So just remember these keywords. Comparison using these words, right? For example, oh, my love is like a red rose, right? So here you are comparing the love with rose and using the keyword like. So just remember that song, that trending song, right? As I forgot that song, as cool as a tree. That part I remember. As buzz as a bee. Yes, yes. as silly as fun, right? That song, yes, yes. So just remember that song, guys, and that is simile. You will automatically remember simile. Okay, okay, guys. Next is a very similar poetic device like simile, that is metaphor. But of course, I will talk about the difference between simile and metaphor. Metaphor is a subtle comparison. Okay, simile is a direct comparison using words as or like. Metaphor, whereas, is an implied comparison or subtle comparison, right? In which again there is comparison, but you know, it will not use words like as or like. So basically you have to understand the deeper meaning of the poem or the piece, literary piece, in order to understand metaphor. For example, all the world's a stage. This is a poem, this is taken from William Shakespeare's poem all क्या था वो? Seven Ages of Man. Yes, Seven Ages of Man. Right. So he starts with this. I mean, he writes in Seven Ages of Man as all the world's a stage and all the men and women mere players. Right. So he is comparing the world with a stage. Okay, where men and women, they are compared to the artists. Okay, artists, they come and perform on stage and they have their entry and their exits, right? Similarly, the entire world is also like stage. We, men and women, we are mere players, mere artists in this world. We will also have our entry, that is we will take birth, and we will have our exit, that is we will die. So that is what, that is the comparison. Okay, but without using as or like. Simple? Yes? Have you all understood? Okay. So let's have a quick quiz. Okay? The storm was a raging bull. You have to find out the poetic device. Anaphora, simile, metaphor, or none of the above. Very simple. Think about it. And do give me your answers in the chat box, guys. 3, 2, 1. Let's have a look. It's a metaphor, guys. The storm is compared with a raging bull. Raging is very angry, right? So, an angry bull destroys everything, whatever comes in its way, right? So, similarly, a very, a storm, okay, is also similar to a raging bull. Okay, guys, a fierce storm. All right. So, I hope you people have liked the video till now. If you did, then don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Okay, guys, chalo. Let's move ahead with our seventh poetic device, that is paradox. Now, paradox is a seemingly contradictory statement, but on closer analysis, it will reveal a deeper truth. So, when you read, okay, when you read the sentence, you will feel that this is a very contradictory statement. This is a very, this is not proper. It does not seem proper. It seems to contradict whatever has been stated. But when you read it carefully, on a closer analysis, it would reveal a deeper truth. I can resist anything but temptation. Okay. So if you read this particular sentence by Oscar Wilde, you can see resisting anything but temptation. If you see the on the surface meaning, you will find it very contradictory. Resisting everything but temptation, how is that possible, right? But on a closer analysis, you will find out a deeper truth, right? A deeper meaning of the poem, right, guys? Okay, chalo. Next, we have a very interesting poetic device, that is onomatopoeia, which is a sound that sounds like the sound it makes. That means it's basically called a sound word. What do we call it? A sound word. For example, crack an egg, stir the butter, break the yolk, make it flutter, stroke the heat, hear it sizzle, shake the salt, just a drizzle. Right? So just like you say, the cow says moo moo, right? So all this is onomatopoeia. Example is a very easy example I'll give you by Shakespeare, of course, in The Tempest. Tempest is a play written by Shakespeare, The Tempest, right? And he says, "Hark, hark! Oh wow! The watchdogs bark! Oh wow! Hark, hark! I hear the strain of strutting chanticleer, cry cock a doodle doo, right? So this bow bow is the sound made by a dog. So you are straight away using that particular sound word, right? Again, cock a doodle doo, that is the sound made by a cock, right? You're straight away using that sound word. Right, guys? So that is the example of onomatopoeia. For example, as I gave you the example, a very easy example of moo moo, the cow says, right? So that moo moo is the example. Okay, next, ninth poetic device is apostrophe, which you will find in your poems as well, where you address someone absent, dead, or non-human. Okay, so the poet addresses someone who is non-human, okay, a person or a thing, okay. So someone who is absent, basically, right? Someone who is absent, or someone who is dead, or someone who is non-human, as if that person or thing was present. So he is addressing someone as if he is present, but actually he is not. Okay? For example, the lamb. In The Lamb, written by William Blake, he says, "Little lamb, who made thee?" So he is basically addressing the little lamb, but the little lamb is not present over there. Have you understood, guys? Okay, so that is apostrophe. You will find it used in a lot of poems. And the final poetic device that we will see today is parody. Now, what is a parody, guys? It's a humorous or satirical imitation of a serious piece of writing or literature or writing. It's a basically it is a kind of satire, but it's subtly it different. There's a difference between satire and parody. So when you are mocking, okay, when you are mocking a serious piece of literature, okay, that is called parody. Okay, for example, now parody are often confused as examples of satire, but parody can be used to develop satire, but it differs from satire to a certain extent. How? Parody mimics a subject directly to produce comical effect. Please note, what is the work or function of a parody? It will mimic or imitate a subject to produce comical effects. Especially parodies are written in imitation, comical imitation of serious pieces of writing. You will find lots of parodies in English literature. Okay? But satire makes the fun of a subject without a direct imitation. So mimicking or imitation is the differentiating element between satire and parody. Okay, satire aims at correcting shortcomings. Yes. So the function of a satire is there are two functions. One is, of course, comedy. Okay. The second is to rectify the follies of the society, right? So rectification. Okay, so these are the twofold functions of satire, but for parody that is not the case. Okay, guys, so that's the difference between a satire and a parody. Example of a parody is very popular Gulliver's Travels, written by Jonathan Swift. It's a parody of travel narratives, and also it's a satire on contemporary England. So we are covering two literary devices at one go, satire as well as parody. It is a satire on contemporary England because it, first of all, it tries to showcase the folly, but in a humorous tone. Folly of what? The contemporary England in a humorous tone. So that is why it is a satire on contemporary England. But it is a parody of travel narratives. Travel narratives were written at that point of time, and this Jonathan Swift's Gulliver's Travels imitates those travel narratives in a fun way. Okay, guys, I hope this is clear. Right, guys? Okay. So, as the empire of England spread to far-off lands, it became a center of navigation and exploration, right? Adventure and travel narratives telling stories of strange lands became popular. So these travel narratives were made fun of by Jonathan Swift's Gulliver's Travels. That is why it's a parody. ठीक है बच्चा बाटी? So final question for you people. Children, where have you gone? Find out the poetic devices. Poetic device. Paradox, onomatopoeia, apostrophe or parody. Very simple guys. 3, 2, 1. Let's quickly have a look. Yes, it is apostrophe. Very, very well done, people. And with that, we have come to the end of the session. And before you go, guys, I'll quickly showcase the platform to you people. And after that, we have the homework question as well, right? So do not leave the session. Okay, I'll quickly showcase. Okay, so for example, this is the session, okay, which is taking place. I will go full screen. You can see, guys, this is the link, okay? Click on this link and we have 3 types of plans: light, classic and plus, right guys? So in all the 3 plans, the common features are live interactive online classes, test series and analysis, assignments and notes, doubt solving during the class. Okay, these are the common features. And for classic, we have doubt solving on mobile app. For plus, we have even a personal mentor. Isn't that amazing? You can buy these plans only for a month as well. If you're not very certain about the full year, you can also try for a month and you can get a complete 10% discount. Okay? In each plan. Here also you can just buy it for 2970 instead of 3500 for a month. And here also 50,399 for the full year, but only 4230, that is discounted price, guys. Okay? You do not have to pay 4900. And I'll now quickly take you to our platform and show you how does it look like. So you can see the replay. See. So there were so many quiz questions asked, guys. Okay? And let us see the doubt statistics. 148 solved, 148 asked and 147 doubts solved. Right guys? And I'll show you how to get the notes. Here you can see there's an option of get notes. Click on the link, click on the option and you will get all the notes. So no need to prepare for any notes. You just get it ready-made. All of this is available, all, right? Even the teacher's handwritten notes are there. So guys, this is an amazing option for you people. And I think you should definitely join this because you are getting a guarantee of your improvement. Yes, guys. So do take note of the batch starting date for CBSE, ICSE and Maharashtra board. Alright, with that, okay, and don't forget that we are going to give you a 10% discount on this particular coupon code. Again, so if you have liked the video, enjoyed the video guys, don't forget to hit the like button. And remember I told you we will be talking about the answer of this riddle. How many of you have got the answer to this riddle guys? Give me a quick high five who have already got this answer. Okay, let's check our answer, okay? The answer is E, the letter E, okay? So from the beginning of eternity to the end of time, beginning of eternity E, end of time E, and space E to the beginning of every end, see every end, and the end of every place, right? So place ke end mein is E. So what am I? It's the letter E. Okay, so did you guys like it? Yes? So give me a quick thumbs up. Alright, so this is your homework question guys. You need to find out the poetic devices used in the given lines. These lines are from your text, okay, from your poem, okay. So do let me see how many of you can capture the poetic devices. Do let me know in the comment section. Don't forget that. And don't forget to hit the like button, share the video amongst your friends and subscribe to the channel quickly so that you do not miss out on any important notification, we will be coming up with amazing and many more sessions, guys. Okay, so do stay tuned. Till then, take care and bye bye.